Hi, this is Tom Savantry at Premier Trust Advisors. I'm so glad you're here with me today as I cover the 3 ways to take control and supercharge your wealth while reducing risk. So we all want it. We want that prosperity in our lives. We want to be able to enjoy it with our family and friends and not worry about money. The reality is majority of households are at risk of not having enough money just to maintain their standard of living, let alone live out their lifelong dreams. So we have to understand what's happening now. Why is this happening? Well, first off, most people are storing their money in banks where we're earning virtually nothing. Maybe 1% if you're lucky, and we cannot even keep up with inflation. That could be upwards of 3%. So this stealth tax of inflation is basically robbing us of our purchasing power. And so to keep up with that and exceed it, we've been taught you have to invest. And where do we invest? The stock market. So we live with this roller coaster ride of the stock market and hope that we're not going to need that money when it goes down in that big downturn of, say, 2009. And so we live with that. That's what we're accustomed to. But when you look at, even over time, the S&P 500 maybe at 10% growth, actual returns are way below that. So it's not surprising people feel like, hey, my wealth is not growing as fast as I need it to. We can't keep up even with the market. And when we're using investment vehicles like qualified plans, 401k, IRAs, we are losing control of our money. It's tied up till we're 59 and a half. If we want to access it, we got to pay a penalty. And even later in life, they're forcing us to take the money even if we don't need it because the government wants their tax money. And we're only limited to investing typically in equities and bonds. And, oh, by the way, these come with fees, right? They could be upwards of 2.5%. So they're chipping away at our income. So that's why our returns don't feel as high. And we're getting taxed on the harvest, the large amount of the money as it comes out of these plans. They're all going to be taxed at ordinary income. So people are scared to take them out because they don't want to deal with the tax implications of it. So what do we do with this? How do we get that control back? We've given it to the banks, to the financial institutions, the government. So the first thing to do is to store your cash so it can work for you. We saw banks, they're not earning us anything, and we can't even keep up with inflation. So the best place we found to store cash is in specially designed permanent life insurance policy. You heard it, life insurance. But you have to design it properly so you can build up cash value. And it can earn 3 to 4 times what a bank's going to ever pay for you long term. And the beauty of it, it's uninterrupted cash flow, cash value growth. It's tax deferred. That's going to keep on growing. If done properly, it's going to be tax free. And oh, by the way, it is life insurance. So in case you do pass, your beneficiaries will get a death benefit that's income tax free. And the beauty of it, it's an asset. So you can use the cash value built up in these policies to leverage for other needs, your emergencies, your opportunities that come through life to invest in things that are better. You can use this while the cash value keeps on growing. So like Warren Buffett says, it's about savings, right? The first thing you need to do is save. Do not save what is left after spending, but spend what is left after saving. That means pay yourself first. You're more important than anybody else. You pay yourself first with your money and save it. So the second way to take control of your money and really supercharge is to focus on cash flow by acting like a bank. Too many people are focusing on net worth. Who's a millionaire? And so let's look at how banks do it. So in this scenario, Sarah is depositing money into a bank, right? The bank's going to pay her 1% interest. I'm sure she's super excited about that. So the bank will use Sarah's money and loan it out to Bill so he can buy his fancy Tesla. Well, the bank's earning a 2% spread on this. Doesn't seem like much, but in reality, it's a 200% return. And the beauty of it, the bank didn't even have to use their own money. They used Sarah's money to make money. So how do we learn from that? Well, Nelson Nash, back in the day, wrote a book called Becoming Your Own Banker. And his philosophy was everyone needs to finance things in their lives. Why can't you finance your own things? And that's where becoming your banker came to be. And his philosophy was using high cash value life insurance policies. And it allows you to double dip because the cash value grows uninterrupted in the policy, tax deferred and tax free if done properly. And you can use that asset to invest elsewhere at higher returns. And where do you do that? One example is in commercial bridge loans. These are things that we love to invest in. They provide temporary loans to commercial and residential projects, and you obtain monthly income, high single digit, maybe low double digit, depending on the investment type. And the loans are backed by real world assets, not paper things like stocks. Like, so you have residential property, you have apartment complexes. So there's things that you can get your money back if things turn out poorly with the debt. You can go after these assets that you can use and sell. So, like Richard Branson says, never take your eyes off cash flow because it's the lifeblood of business. And I believe that for our own personal economies. Our own personal economies are a business to me. You've got to make sure that you keep money moving and earning cash flow to build your wealth faster. So when you look at these sorts of companies, you probably associate them with investing, stock market. Well, they know better that that's not the only place to invest. So they invest in assets outside of Wall Street too, like real estate and senior life settlements, which you may likely have not heard of before. Essentially, they're buying an existing life insurance policy's death benefit. Right? There are folks who are older in lives where they don't need their policies anymore, so they're selling them so they can get more money off of it. And then there are operators who can pull them together and have other investors invest in it. And the returns are not impacted by the stock market, completely outside of the Wall Street. And there's limited downside risk because these are contracts with life insurance companies that have been around for generations. They're expecting to pay these death benefits anyway. So it's a win-win for both the original policyholder as well as investors. So I know I went through that pretty quickly just to give you a flavor to help you sort of see there are ways to really control your money outside of what we typically have heard and all the conventional wisdom that we have been taught. There are other ways. So the 3 ways to take control and supercharge your wealth while reducing risk are to store your cash so it can work for you. We see how banks are basically doing nothing for us. So we found that the permanent life insurance route is much better. To store your cash can earn good rates of return and be your financial foundation. Second, focus on cash flow by acting like a bank. We see how banks make money by leveraging other people's money. Why can't we do that? We can. And so that's the second way to really take control of your money. And lastly, Wall Street is not the only place to invest. There are plenty of places to invest that are outside of Wall Street that reduce risk and can grow your wealth significantly. So I hope this was really helpful. If you want to learn more, you can go to my website, premiertrustadvisors.com. You can visit me on my Facebook page. I'd love to connect with you there. Keep your education going. Education will give you the knowledge and the confidence to take action, right? To control your wealth. And when you're ready, you can schedule some time with me and we can chat about where we can take your wealth to the next stage so you can control it and live the dreams and prosperity you seek.